Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we just finished construction of the Mir Station last episode, but we're not quite done with it just yet. We are going to need a few additional things. Specifically, we need to get a couple of crews up there. And I'm going to go for three crews. We have 3 docking places for crews. So let's kick a couple of Soyuzes up there and a space shuttle. We're going to load it up to full capacity. We'll see if we can get any science researched in the research lab. If we can, great. If not, well, we'll just bring them on home at that point. And are we going to deorbit Mir? I'm not actually sure. I'm sure it's been deorbited by now, right? Almost certainly. Let me check here. Maintained it in orbit. Yeah. Where's the deorbiting? I mean, obviously it's no longer in orbit. I'm sure they deorbited it. And we're going to do that as well. So that's fine. A controlled deorbit is definitely the way to go on that front. So let's load up our Soyuz here. We need to send up 3 total crews, including our shuttle. Now, I feel like our shuttle is lacking a little bit of lift, potentially. We'll maybe tackle that a little bit later on. For now, we're going to call it good enough. Maybe we just stick with splashdowns, or maybe we up the parachutes a little bit. That might not be a bad idea either. So for now, we're going to launch our Soyuzes. That'll be nice and simple. So we're going to get these lifted off. We've already got our Soyuz built and ready to go. Who's going to be piloting this? Jeb, Bill, Bob? That sounds good. So as far as our actual crews go, we're going to need to hire a few more crew members, because keep in mind, our shuttle, as opposed to the real shuttle, seats 4. The real shuttle, of course, seated, I believe, 7, but our shuttle seats 4. So that'll be okay, but obviously another Soyuz is going to eat up 3 of these. So we're going to be bringing a pilot, a scientist, and an engineer for that. So that'll be probably Corby, Doney, Matgan, and then that's going to leave, like, Valentina Biltop, which is a pair of pilots. We are going to need to hire in another scientist and engineer, most likely, for that. But for now, let's put this out at the Woomerang launch site, and we're going to launch ourselves a Soyuz. Phenomenal. We're going to do basically the same thing as we did with the last launch. The last launch? Yeah, that was the last launch. The Perota launch. For some reason, I was thinking that the last launch that we did was the shuttle adapter port. But, I mean, it kind of got lumped together into 2 episodes because it went quicker. The Perota went quicker than I expected. So that's why I got a little bit confused there. But yeah, we're going to do basically the same thing as the last launch and try to link this up relatively swiftly. And we would like to get a second Soyuz up here, of course. So let's take a look at where we are right now in relation to the station. It's not bad, although the Mir core module is currently on the far side of the planet, which is mildly an issue. Right, that's the tug that's going to be deorbited. So we're going to set the Mir core module as our target, and we're going to be rotating around here. So we're probably going to need to wait for another launch opportunity. And this is not it. So we're going to have to warp on around and look for a better launch window. So let's bring this right on over. And we're just going to be looking for whatever launch window we can over here. I think next orbit would be the one. Yeah, this is lining up reasonably well. So we would end up launching fairly soon here. Fairly soon. Sometime around now-ish. Okay. So let's throttle up. Let's go into surface up. And let's go. Off we go here. Our SRB assistants, of course, helping us get that first little bit going. Phenomenal. So naturally, we're going to have to play a little bit of catch-up with the station here, but that's reasonably fine. So we can see that we're like 31.1 degrees off here. We're going to want to be burning eventually down like the 45 degree marker-ish. And I see we picked up a bit of a wiggle there. Let's, ooh. Those trees were floating. That was exciting. That was very exciting. Okay, so upwards we go here. We need to continue burning straight up for the moment. Our apoapsis height isn't as high as I'd like it to be just yet. But we're going to be continuing to burn for the time being. Let's see, it's going off on the 90-degree heading-ish. That's okay for now. I want to just continue to push our altitude up quite a ways. I want to get quite a lot of vertical speed here. And then we're going to head on over to the horizon around the time that our SRBs fall off. Yeah, that's going to be a pretty long burn here, straight up. So about another 25 seconds straight up. I'm not liking the bending that I'm seeing here, though. I'm just going to put this on kill rot. I'm not liking that bending at all. I don't think we saw that previously. Okay, let's just angle off over this way and burn towards target at this point. SRBs, or rather, not SRBs, but our side boosters are going to be detaching in about 3 seconds here, so we should be okay on that front. Okay, that's good. We're going to turn down our gimbal limit here to 10. There we go. And we're just burning towards the module here right now. We can see our descending node is going down. We're burning towards target at this moment. We're going to be ditching our Airstream protective shell very, very soon. I want to go into target mode. So obviously, we are currently getting further away from the target. That is reasonably expected for the moment. I want to go to horizontal velocity up right now. So we'll just take that right on over. And we're still going to need to do some planes matching here, but that's reasonably fine. We're keeping an eye on that descending node. The apoapsis is reasonably high at this point. So actually, now I want to go at normal up. So that'll be okay. We're going to head that direction for now. We can ditch our fairing, and we would like to ditch our launch escape system. But while we're under thrust here, that's not going to be happening. So I'm keeping an eye on this descending node for the moment. And at this point, honestly, what we're really doing is we're doing a corrective burn here, right? We're taking our prograde marker, and we're moving this right on over onto the towards target marker. So that'll be fine. This is a absolutely okay corrective burn as far as I'm concerned. We need to continue to move this downward a little bit here. Although we need to be in target mode eventually. So for now, this is okay. Let's just head back towards target for the moment. We can see we've overshot our descending node a bit. That's fine. We can do a corrective burn on that soon enough. And there we go. We see our separation dropping on down here. And this is going to require some corrective burn. No doubt about that. Let's just let this warp right on up a little bit here. And yeah, we're going to need quite a lot of corrective burn. So let's just go into kill rot here. We're going to need a lot of horizontal velocity at this time. So I'm just going to... Well, actually, what we're going to need is we're going to need to warp up over here. Just this little bit closer here. There we go. And at this point, we want to get over to the horizon. We're just having a bit of a hard time turning without the gimbal, so that's fine. Let's burn towards target for right now. Okay, we're overshooting this a little. Well, let's extend our solar panels for the time being. And let's go ahead and ditch our launch escape system. Perfect. So for now, this is going to be a little bit awkward, right? There's no doubt about that. And the reason it's going to be awkward is because, well, we're having a hard time with our gimbaling on this. No doubt about it, but that's okay. I'm not too concerned about it. We can simply add a maneuver up here and see about dropping in on the station by bringing this guy right on up and seeing what this would end up looking like. We could definitely toss in a bit of radial if we really wanted to. We probably don't, is the answer, though. So for now, what I'm going to do is we're just going to not launch directly into the encounter. Looks like our timing was a little bit late on that anyway. So that's fine. We'll just launch into something like this, and we probably don't even need to correct our angling. It's fine. Let's just position over here. Let's get into an orbit. We'll drop in on the station. It's fine. Not a big deal. We launched into approximately the correct inclination, so it's good enough. It's just the timing. Why is this jittering like this? Okay, that's exciting. Okay, so let's head over to the node here. That is not at the node. And when we're physics warping, it just kind of jitters. Okay, that's exciting, but let's warp on forward here now that we are at the node. And we're going to be circularizing in 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, and 2, 1, 0, mark. Excellent. So let's just get ourselves into orbit here. Of course, we're currently done with our booster stage, which is great. That is, of course, going to deorbit, so no problem there. And let's just put ourselves into orbit with our second stage here. This is going to be a much more efficient stage, naturally. And then the Soyuz itself will be absolutely fine here. Do we have anything in the service bay? No, we don't. Okay. I don't think we need to bring anything, though, to be honest. We have the space there for, like, astronaut supplies and whatever. Food, water, you know, things like that. So that's fine for the time being. Excellent. So we're now entering orbit. We've got about 250 meters per second to go here to get circularized. Yeah, we've overshot this a little bit, but it's fine. We'll just do a couple phasing orbits. It's not the end of the world. So no problem whatsoever here. Noted that we need to launch a little earlier. I'm still pretty bad at launching into the trajectory of the station, to be honest. That takes a little practice. So we'll get there. 70 meters per second. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10. And let's get this last little bit. 2. 1. And we'll call that good enough. Beautiful. So now we're in an orbit that encapsulates our target orbit. We probably don't need an inclination change. At this point, what we need to do is find a decent encounter, and it'll almost certainly require several phasing orbits. Oh yeah. That's not bad, though. That's pretty decent, really. We can definitely work with that. So we'll head on over to this node that's only 69.4 meters per second. At this point, I'm going to ditch this stage. Its entire job is to put us in orbit, which it did. And, of course, this is a lot of delta V to throw away, but we really, really, really don't need it. That said, we could bring it in and refuel the station with it. And then have it burn up in the atmosphere on the way in. That is a possibility. We could dock this whole thing. It'll be a little bit awkward for us, but we could do it. Having at least something refueling the station is not a bad idea, in my opinion. That said, we're not going to be needing the fuel. The station is going to be going away pretty soon. So I think I'm just going to ditch this, as I previously stated. That didn't do the trick. That did the trick. Phenomenal. So that'll be fine. Let's just have the Soyuz work the way it's intended to work. Let's not try to do anything fancy here. I really don't think it's necessary. So 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. And off we go. We're going to be braking a little bit here. 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, this is good enough. How are we doing on that encounter? 13.9 kilometers. Looks good. So we're going to warp to about here. And then we are, of course, going to, at that point, do some... This is not accurate. This will update once we're done with this warp. At that point, we'll do some corrective burning. How's this looking? Yeah, this is absolutely fine. So we're going to bring this around. We want to be on the retrograde side, I think. Yeah, we're at 155 meters per second, so this will be fine. We'll want to do a corrective burn around here or so. I'm not sure where the station is right now. There it is, about 25 kilometers away. Fantastic. So let's get ourselves a corrective burn. Get our trajectories lined up a little bit better here. Cool. That's not perfect, but it doesn't really need to be at this juncture. We can burn this a little bit further over here. That's a lot better. And now we can see 7.5 kilometers. Okay, we'll head up to around here, and we'll do another corrective burn. We are going to need another corrective burn, obviously, because we were pretty far apart to begin with. And actually, we're only 26.5 meters per second apart. We might actually have to do this corrective burn towards target, which is, you know, mildly awkward. Oh, this docking port is not supposed to be here. Is it? I'm pretty sure it's not. Isn't there a smaller docking port under this? Yes. This is the docking port we want. Okay, cool. That'll do. We're currently about 8.1 kilometers away from the target. Let's bring this on over here. Okay, that'll do for now. And now we'll switch around to relative velocity minus. This is now 0.7 kilometers apart. Much better. And we'll warp on in. Still moving in at about 50 meters per second. We are much, much more similar now in terms of our trajectories. So that looks great. And we'll have to do a little bit of correcting, of course. There's the station loading in. And let's position ourselves right up over here. Cool. Performance is definitely lower with the station loaded in. We're currently only about a kilometer away from the station as well, so we should probably position ourselves at relative velocity minus here and bring this on in. I'm going to rotate our solar panels like so for the time being. I'm not sure yet what docking port we're going to be targeting, but we'll get there. 600 meters. 500 meters. We can see our relative velocity is currently going down as well, which is intriguing. 300 meters as of a little bit from now. Now. There we go. Oh, I had our throttle slightly up. That would be why. Okay, cool. Actually, it's fine to be slowing this down very gently right now. We can bring it down to something like 5 meters per second. So this is where the shuttle is going to be attached. We can attach a Soyuz here, and then a Soyuz on this far end. So we need to decide which one we're going to go for. We're actually kind of moving in a decent direction to target the one on the far end here, the docking port over here. So I think that's reasonably fine. We'll do exactly that for now. We're just going to fly straight on by here. We can drop our speed down a little bit. Down to about 3 meters per second. Okay. We're at about 2 meters per second right now. And I want to continue to just bring this on down. I'm dumb. We've got the large docking port here. Okay. Well. We ejected our large docking port. I keep forgetting which size of docking port we're using. I don't know why. But what can we do about this? There are a few things that we could, in theory, do about this, I think. We could just leave this here and bring up a second Soyuz with a second large docking port for this that we would put here. That is a theoretical option. It might drift apart a little bit as we do that, but I think that's what we're going to do. So we're going to hop back to the Space Center here. We're just going to leave these guys here, because I definitely made a mistake there, but it is a fixable mistake. We're planning on bringing up a second Soyuz anyway, so we can just slap a second large docking port on that. My plan is to just fully replace the small docking port with a large docking port and then put another large docking port on top of that. That's the idea here, and then we'll just grab it and move it on over. So let's hop into the VAB. And yeah, those might drift apart a tiny, tiny amount, but it shouldn't be too bad. We can always bring it back together. No big deal there. So as far as the Soyuz goes, we are going to grab this docking port. We're going to delete this docking port. I need to remember what size of docking ports we have, right? That would definitely help. So we're going to be bringing a large docking port here, and then we're going to attach a second large docking port on top of that, like so. Okay, so inside of this Soyuz, who are we going to be bringing? Valentina, Corvi, we don't need Corvi. We could bring Matkin and Doni. Okay, so let's save this, and we are going to launch this also from the Woomerang launch site. And I'm going to go ahead and just launch this right now. We need to get this up to the station as quickly as possible, not as efficiently as possible. So we're going to get it up there and just look to do some correction along the way, is going to be the idea. So that'll be okay. We just want to get there without the other vehicle drifting off too far, right? It's going to have a very, very, very small amount of drift. So we should have a decent amount of time to do this, and we can always just steer it back in. It's not like we're out of fuel or anything. We just lack the docking port. So let's deliver this up here. It'll be fine, and then we'll need to bring a space shuttle up as well. So hopefully we can have all that done by the end of next episode, would be the idea. We'll take this to Kilrot up, and off we go, just as quickly as possible. Excellent. Is it just me, or is this thrust to weight higher? Maybe I didn't fully throttle previously. I don't know. If I did, that was unintentional. But let's make our way on out of here. This thrust to weight does feel a little bit higher, that's for sure. And we're going to want to set this Soyuz as our target for right now. Obviously, we're going to be pretty far off on our ascending-descending node. I'm just going to be going high-floating trees. I'm just going to be going on the 67-degree marker like previously. So we could rotate this on over to there. So approximately here. Phenomenal. Oh, wow, Moon and Minmus both visible in the day sky here. That's unusual. Cool. I like it. So we're going to continue to push straight up for the time being. But we're going to definitely look to get some horizontal speed about right now. Excellent. I want to switch into orbital mode here. And we're just going to be heading down this direction. We'll have to do an inclination change for sure. Our inclination is not going to line up correctly. So that's fine. Let's take this over to orbital prograde. Let's just burn it up prograde for now. We are definitely picking up some bending here. I didn't really expect the Soyuz to have significant bending issues. But okay. There we go. That'll do for now. Let's turn this gimbal down to 10%. Just doing that on a straightforward basis might be enough. Let's go to horizontal velocity up at this point. And yeah, we're going to be tossing ourselves into a pretty awkward orbit here for sure. But we're going to need a decent amount of horizontal speed here. Let's deploy our fairing. And we'll just push this up to 150. I'm not going to drop down. Dropping down is slightly less efficient, but I did it that way previously for no real reason. Well, mostly because I was just trying to catch up and realized pretty quickly that that wasn't going to work, so we had to do it the other way. That's absolutely fine. We're just going to do our orbital maneuvering here. We'll take this up to 150. And then we'll put ourselves into orbit properly from there. We need a lot of horizontal speed still, right? So that's okay. Maybe we should target 200, actually. 200 is probably fine. Our inclination is going to have to change a lot, and it's more efficient to change our inclination the higher up we are. So let's just take this right on up to about 200 for the apoapsis. That's not going to be a significant difference for the inclination change, but it's fine. Cool. We do need quite a lot of additional horizontal speed, which is to be expected. This is angling for quite a lot more apoapsis height, which is fine. Like, previously we got a lot of apoapsis height, and that pushed us up very quickly. But we still required this stage for circularization. Okay, we'll call this good for now. And obviously we're very far off on our descending node. That is to be expected, given our timing here. But we're just going to circularize this on up to around here or so. 500 meters per second on that one. Looks good. So we're going to align to our node here. There's going to be some bending. And I do want to decouple our launch escape system now. We do not need that anymore. And let's warp on over. So we're going to be getting into orbit here, but we're going to do some inclination changes with this particular tank. That'll be fine. We've got about 50 seconds, 40, 30, 20, 10, and 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Excellent. So we're going to have a little bit of circularization out of this tank, but this is mostly going to be inclination change. And we do need a lot of inclination change. We should extend our solar panels at this point, to be honest. There we go. And off we go on this last little bit here. This is good enough, though. We don't need to do any more node chasing than that. So currently, we are in this orbit. Right. We're basically at the descending node right now, so I'm going to do this at the ascending node. I expect this to be a pretty lengthy burn, and it's going to be quite a thing. No doubt about that. So 83.8, yeah, we're going to have to go the other direction here. So it's going to be this way. Yep, and there'll have to be some retrograde tossed in there as well. This is going to be a pretty expensive burn, but that's not shocking in the slightest. Not shocking at all. Okay, so that's 7.5. I think we need a little less than that, don't we? Yeah. Actually, a little more. No, less. I was right the first time. Okay. So this is going to be putting us into the correct inclination as of... Well, we need to bring this around a little bit. And then we need to bring it out like not that. A little more retrograde here. Okay, it's a timing issue. Gotcha. 0.4. Okay. This is good enough. This will be fine. So that'll be okay. That's going to burn most of this fuel because that's quite an inclination change. We knew that that was going to be the case. Like I said, this is being launched for getting there as quickly as possible, not for being efficient. No doubt about that. So let's warp on forward. It's going to be about a 4-minute burn, and it is about time to put a cut in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we're going to commence this burn, and it's going to be quite a thing. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Andy McGar, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.